How you doing? Mr. DJ's back. Gonna count down my fantasy playlist. Get back down on count down my fantasy playlist December 26, 2010 on a very cold night here in Tuscaloosa. Well, it's 25 past 2 in the morning. The date is February the 7th, 2016. Going back on my fantasy playlist about I guess about 5, 6 years ago, back in 2010, I did Stroma with Alain Audance at number 16. He was from Belgium. Now we go to Britain. Cheryl Cole. She was very big in England. It's still popular in England. She's one of the judges of the X Factor in England. She's also an executive producer, I believe, as of 2015 of the X Factor in England. She's very, gosh, dog it. Did some research on this woman, and she is successful. And this is really towards the American audience because most of the Americans, they're thinking, who the heck is Cheryl Cole? And that's the thing. There's a lot of artists who make it really big in England. They go platinum status in England, and then here in the States, it's like, who's that? Well, anyway, here's the deal. Cheryl Cole, she first started back in 2002. She appeared on a reality TV show. It's called Pop Stars, The Rivals. It was sponsored by ITV Television in Britain. As a result, she won a spot in a group called Girls Aloud. And Girls Aloud, oh my God, they had some fantastic records. I wrote some of them down because there was The Sound of the Underground. That was in 2003. Something kind of that was about 2006, I think. They did a fantastic version of Jump, and I just wrote down some of the song titles that they did to refresh my memory. And keep in mind, my note. This is my notes. I'm all over the place. I just Love Machine was another fantastic record by them. Back in 2003, 2004, by Girls Aloud. And Girls Aloud, the stats on Girls Aloud it's just impressive in England. They had 4 top 10 hits. No, I take that back. They had 4 number 1 hits in Britain, 20 top 10 hits in the UK, consecutive in the UK. And boy, that's a hell of a springboard to jump off from right there for Cheryl Cole. She she went solo, produced first album. I believe it's called 3 Words. Don't quote me on that. Again, I just reading my chicken scratch. I just can't write. I can't pronounce words. But I can DJ sometimes. I can throw down. Got the heart. Anyway, she had her first solo single. Her first single, Cheryl Cole's first single in England, Fight for This Love, debuted at number 1 in England, debuted at number 1 in the UK. And her second CD, second solo album was Messy Little Raindrops, and Promised is the song that I want to play for you, coming in at number 15 on my fantasy playlist, up from number 20 or 24 on my fantasy playlist, December 26, 2010. That also debuted at number 1 in England. That record did. Fashion icon overseas. She's appeared in Elle magazine, British Vogue, and she starred as a judge on the X Factor. I believe it was 2008. She was on the X Factor in Britain for several years. Then she transferred or tried to transfer to the X Factor here in America, and apparently she walked out when she auditioned, and it fueled rumors that she was sacked on the American version of the X Factor. But hey, no problem there. She got back on with the X Factor in England. I believe it was a $1.5 million contract in 2014. Now I take that back. It's 1.5 pounds rather, which is equivalent to what, around $3 million or $2.5 million. The 11th series of the X Factor. She got back on in 2014, and her net worth as of 2014, maybe a little bit later than 2014, 20 million pounds. That's equivalent to about, gosh, what, about 35, 40 million dollars. Ooh, I tell you, she's very, very successful. Gotta be impressed. With a resume like that, she can't go wrong. You'll have your setbacks here and there, but with that kind of financial underpinning, you got yourself a hell of a cushion right there. Never hurts to have a nest egg, believe me. And she's got a heck of a nest egg. Well, anyway, this is Cheryl Crow. Oh, another song that I recommend by Cheryl Cole. It might be off this album, but she did one in 2011 called Parachute. She's a passionate singer. She was really passionate on this record, Parachute. Good beat, too. When it comes to pop music, when it comes to rock and roll, I'm of the old school. I like the beat. Just give me the beat, man. Throw it down. Throw it into the rhythm section, so I can jam out on it all night. All right, I believe that's all I got to say. Yeah, I'm done with this video. Let's go ahead and move on. This is Cheryl Cole with Promise This at number 15 on my fantasy playlist, December 26, 2010.